What's up, everyone? Purple Derpal here with another list of mods for Skyrim Special Edition. Last time we went over the mods that will, for the most part, fix bugs and other problems with the vanilla game. This time around, we'll take a look at a few mods that offer some quality of life improvements without affecting the overall gameplay all that much, if at all. First on the list, we've got moreHUD by Azab, whatever. This mod does require SKSE installed, so be sure to check out my quick installation guide if you haven't already. Okay, if you've ever been annoyed about having to first pick up an item, then having to open up your inventory and find the item, when all you want to do is know something silly about the item, like how much it weighs or what stats are on it, then moreHUD is what you need. Now all you need to do is simply point your cursor at the item and the relevant information is displayed in your HUD, hence the name, moreHUD. Alchemy ingredients will show any learned effects, and enchanted items will show you what the enchantment details are. Skill books will let you know what skills will be affected by reading them, and there's even an indicator for books you haven't even read yet. You'll see how much the item will affect your carry weight if you pick it up, as well as the value to weight ratio, so you know if it's worth looting to sell to an NPC later. There are a number of other types of info too, depending on what you're looking at, but not so much that your screen ends up looking like the inside of Iron Man's helmet. As of this video, version was just released to also display the type of blessing you get from a shrine. Handy if you're like me and just can't remember them all. For some people this is very immersion breaking, so if you're into that sort of thing, let's move on, shall we? Okay, so I know you can see what time it is simply by opening up the wait window. The problem with doing it that way is that it brings the gameplay to a full stop. Sometimes you might want this, like while going through your inventory to find that one health potion you really need right now because a drugger is about to eat your face, but probably not when you just want to know what time it is. Maybe you're a vampire and you want to check really quick if it's safe to go outdoors, or maybe you're just not a fan of nighttime adventuring out in the wilderness, so you'd rather stay in a dungeon with your copies of the Lusty Argonian Maid. Whatever your reason, then you'll want to give Sky Amigos a Matter of Time mod a try. What I really like about it is not only does it show the in-game time, but it can also be configured to display the time in the real world, because man does time fly when you're playing Skyrim for the first time. Again, for the umpteenth time. It's got a bunch of different display options that let you pick what to display, where to show it on screen, and even control when it shows up. Me, I like to have it appear for a few seconds when I bring up my other HUD objects. You will need SkyUI to get this working, but you probably already have it installed anyway if you watched my previous video on essential gameplay mods, right? And if you like the disappearing HUD, check out ImmersiveHUD or iHUD for all the immersive goodness it provides. Oh yeah, immersion. Next! Alright, let's get into something that actually changes a bit of the gameplay. One thing that's really annoying, especially if you run a build that relies on filling soul gems, is the way the default mechanics of collecting souls works when you have different types of soul gems in your inventory. With the Acquisitive Soul Gems Multi-Threaded mod by IONS, you no longer need to worry about filling soul gems with anything less than what you intended. No longer will you fill a Grand Soul Gem with a Mudcrab's Petty Soul by mistake just because it was bugging you while you were busy trying to snag a black soul off that random hunter that just passed by on a horse. You know, because of that thing you got now after that thing you did with that one vampire hottie that one time. Ease your soul trapping troubles and get this mod. You won't regret it. Alright, you've got to admit, it's a pain in the neck when you're required to follow an NPC or have one follow you only to see them moving at a different pace from you while you're doing the exact same thing they are, you know, running or walking. Don't! Some other games may have handled this problem beautifully, while others had good reason not to, but in Skyrim, well, it doesn't really make sense why it's like this. If you use a controller, this isn't really a problem, but you still have to adjust your character's movement speed using the analog stick. With the NPCs Run and Walk at Your Pace mod by Spicy Chronums, this is no longer a problem since everyone will now walk and run at your pace. Right, okay, pretty straightforward. Moving right along. While we're on the topic of animations, we might as well cover Faster Get Up Stand Up by Dark Angel 13. This fixes another silly little problem in the vanilla game where it takes just what can seem like ages for your character to get up from a knockdown. While some might say this is more realistic, I say, come on, you're the Dragonborn, you're not gonna let a little stumble keep you down, are you? Anyway, the mod fixes the problem by basically cutting down the time from about 6 agonizing seconds to less than half of that. So if you're getting ragdolled like Loki by the Incredible Hulk, then you definitely need this mod. It won't stop you from being tossed around like a salad, but you'll definitely get up faster for the next beatdown. Next up, we've got Pick Up Books by Alabasta. I hardly ever get around to reading through all the books that I'm constantly looting and storing in my character's home, but when I do, I like the convenience of knowing exactly which ones I've already read, at least in that particular playthrough. This is why the default action of opening up a book before you can drop it into your inventory is such a nuisance. Now the game considers it read and marks it as such, so when you're stuck indoors and want to find something new to read to your adopted children, you can't tell whether or not they've already heard that story, or if you just popped it open really quick to see if the story had any pictures. This mod fixes that so you can just crouch to pick up the book. It's a weird thing to have to do, but at least it works. Just be careful not to steal any books when people are looking. People in Skyrim are really possessive of the books. moreHUD, a mod I mentioned earlier in this video, does have an indicator to show whether or not you've read a book, but it only works when you're looking at a book. If you're after something a bit more noticeable, then consider also installing the Unread Books Glow mod by Douglas. It makes finding new books so much easier. Again, immersion breaking, so if that's not what you're after, then skip. Last on this list is something that's just completely subjective. I've never been a fan of the normal UI font, it just seems so out of place, and the fonts used in the books and notes just felt a bit hard on the eyes. Because of this, I use and highly recommend the font Overhaul Natural Typefaces for Skyrim mod by MFCF-Bro. It replaces the game's fonts with ones that are easy to read while retaining that lore-friendly feel. If you are looking for something a little bit more extreme, there are a number of other font replacers out there, so see if there's something that fits your taste better. Of course, if you really dig the vanilla fonts, then go read Cats of Skyrim. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that list. If you think I left out something you feel belongs on this list, or you've got suggestions for other videos, please let me know in the comments below. I'm working out this production schedule and trying to get into a groove here, so be sure to join the notification squad to get those notifications about what other weird stuff I'm doing on this channel. There's also this Twitter thing. Do people still tweet? Is that still something I want to use? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.